In Chicago, you know that all sports rock. The Bears, Hawks, Bulls, Cubs, and Sox. Pick your favorite, you can choose. As long as the Packers lose. For everything you need to know, it's Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. This is your hosts, Alex and Sean. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Cubs moves, White Sox moves, what the Bulls and Blackhawks are doing, some big talk radio news. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Rockford Ice Hogs. If you're not familiar with the Rockford Ice Hogs, they're the AHL minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks. What does that mean for you? You get to see the stars of tomorrow today at family-friendly, affordable prices. The season is going on right now, so make sure you head on over to icehogs.com, get yourself a hat, shirt, jersey, tickets, and more. Tell them Swerski Sports sent you. Alex, how are we holding on here in the Arctic weather with the big snow burst?
Well, I feel like this time of year was a lot more tolerable when we had Bears games to look forward to. And now that we're here on Championship Sunday and there is no Bears game, it feels 10 times worse. It's been a pretty shitty week. I mean, think about how cold it's been. First of all, Friday I didn't leave the house at all when it was, dangerously cold. And then today we got several inches of snow. I don't know exactly how much there was, but it was several inches. And I did drive to the gym today, but my car was kind of drifting along the road, at least on my block. The bigger roads on the way to the gym were more cleared out. But yeah, that was kind of a treacherous drive, but I was going stir crazy. So I needed to go to the gym and just kind of work out a little bit. But I hate this weather. I absolutely hate it. And I don't mind the snow aesthetic for the holidays, but the holidays are over. The Bears playoff season is over. So snow and ice can go away.
Yeah, I would much rather be watching the Bears play the Seahawks for the chance to go to the Super Bowl right now than anything else.
Me too. Me too. And let me just say how sick I am with what happened in the AFC Championship. It
I didn't
just,
watch any of it, so I have
it,
no idea what happened.
disgusting. It was the most disgusting game I ever watched. It was a 10-7 final, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Disgusting. The long-suffering Patriots are back in the Super Bowl thanks to 86 passing yards from Drake May, and yet they get to go to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, whoever made it from the AFC is just going to get mud stomped in the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah. The Rams just lost the lead. Seahawks took it back. Smith the Jigba. But yeah, I mean, it was just, and I've never been a huge Patriots hater, but it's just like really, eh, Boston is the most spoiled sports town on the planet. Maybe LA can go toe to toe with them, but you had six Super Bowl wins, what, 10, 11 trips with Brady? It was 10. Yeah, it was 10 trips,
Yep.
six wins. You have a few down years. Ooh. And then here you go. You're back in the Super Bowl after beating Who Bob What Pants under center for the Broncos in a blizzard. I don't know. I don't know why I'm so salty and mad, but I just am.
I
And
mean, either one of those teams, long suffering. Ooh,
yeah, I
because
know.
the Broncos have a Super Bowl win in not so long ago.
Hell, look at the NFC Championship. The Rams won a few years ago with Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. The Seahawks went to back-to-back Super Bowls a little over a decade ago, but it's still fairly recent. It's kind of funny. People are joking, "Oh, you wished for the Chiefs to be out." And it's like that monkey's paw meme where the finger goes down, like the be careful what you wish for. So now we have to see the evil empire, quote unquote, back in the Super Bowl. And listen, I like Mike Vrabel very, very much. I have not hated the Patriots up to this moment. I'm just like, really? I would have felt better if they would have just blown out the Broncos. Because it'd be like, okay, you're clearly, but it's like, you play like shit. you haven't really done much offensively, but you've been able to ride against a no-name quarterback, CJ Stroud, who was god awful, and the yearly disappointing choke of the Chargers. I don't know why I'm so salty. I just am. I think if the Bears were in the NFC Championship, I wouldn't be so salty because I'm watching this game right now, the NFC Championship, and the Bears going into Seattle, that would have been a mighty tall hill to climb, but at least they would have had a shot. And it just in the back of my mind feels like we should be there.
You know, you look at everybody's like, oh, Drake May. He's from what I read, he stunk today.
It was awful. And to be fair, the weather was awful in the second half, but the first half it was fine and neither quarterback was any good. Now, Denver's defense is very, very good, but yeah, nobody the offenses certainly did not light it up today.
I mean, but if you look at the season stats, Drake May's numbers look good on this season.
Oh yeah, they
But if
were.
you look at like advanced metrics where it shows like your expected completions percentage, he's like 10% almost higher than like his completion percentage was almost 10% higher than the expected completion percentage, which means that he was playing over his head this year. And you expect a regression next year.
I still think he'll be very good, but yeah, I mean, a lot went right for the Patriots this year, and that's football. That happens. Obviously, there's a lot that can go right and can go wrong in a given season, depending on who you play, when you play, what kind of breaks you get, what kind of advantages you get in a certain game. There's always a lot of things going on, and I don't want to take away from Drake May, but it's like it's frustrating. It's just really, really frustrating when you felt like you were so close to a championship game, and there's the team that's been there nearly a dozen times since you've been alive, and there they are again.
But, on the flip side, to bring this home, Caleb Williams' expected completion percentage was about 10% lower. His completion percentage was about 10% lower than the expected, which means he has a lot of room to get to the expected value. And you saw what that offense did as is. If you raise that completion percentage 8, 10 points, this is going to be some next level shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of room to grow if you're Caleb Williams. Because we look this year, he had some great moments, but he was far from perfect on a number of occasions. There were some games where he was not good at all. Although you could say a bad game for Caleb Williams was better than 90% of the quarterbacks we've had in this town. But yeah, I mean, nobody's perfect. I mean, no quarterback is perfect right now. And especially you look at these guys that were from that 2024 class. They all have all the upside, but they have their weaknesses and areas to still grow. And one thing I was looking at this morning, no, it was yesterday morning. I was just looking at some of the great quarterbacks of this generation, and it's interesting because when you're a hyped up quarterback prospect coming to the NFL, the expectations are, immediate. And even we ourselves said we hoped that he'd be ahead of a learning curve a little bit earlier in the season where there were some struggles. But I'm saying like, well, look at Tom Brady. He comes into the fold, he starts winning Super Bowls right away. Or look at Pat Mahomes. He was a Super Bowl champion in year 2 after being on the precipice of the Super Bowl his first year as a starter. But look at a bunch of other quarterbacks out there in history. You know who lost in overtime in his first year as a playoff quarterback, second year as a starter, just like Caleb Williams, was Aaron Rodgers. Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Favre a few years, but do you remember that first Packer loss with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback in the playoffs?
Yes.
The overtime game against the Cardinals. It was a
Mm-hmm.
fumble recovery. That was his first time in the playoffs, and that happened. Peyton Manning didn't win a Super Bowl right away. Drew Brees didn't win a Super Bowl right away. You can go on and on. So, there's always something that can be improved on when you're a young quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger, he was pretty young when he won a Super Bowl, but if you look at his numbers and what he did, he didn't really hit his stride until a few years later. I mean, those teams were well coached and well manned. The Steelers are one of the best built teams of that generation. So it's okay that there's a number of things still to build on with Caleb Williams because we saw the growth that we did. After some concerns early, we saw him cut down on the sacks. We saw him hit the safety valve a little bit more. Still needs work on that, but I think he can work on, I think he's made some progress there. I think his read speed was a little bit better. I mean, overall, you saw improved numbers in many of the essential areas: touchdown throws, yards, wins. The completion percentage doesn't always tell a whole story. Some of it's on him, some of it's on his team, and some of it is just learning a system. So the exciting thing is that you can at least look at Caleb Williams and say, I trust the head coach to bring him further along. We couldn't say that in the past.
And the self-awareness is there because he was
Yes.
asked about working, what he needed to work on, and he immediately said footwork and accuracy. And
Yes.
that is it. Is you get that footwork down, it's going to improve your accuracy. And there's sometimes he's just arm throwing and but you work on those, you work on the timing, and you come into instead of coming into training camp learning a new system, you're coming in perfecting your timing with your players that are there.
Right. Exactly. I thought it was a very reasonable press conference. Because how many times have we done this show at this time of year where we're just like, what the heck are Ding Dong George and Ding Dong Jed or Ted? I said Jed, sorry. Uh, what are Ted and George talking about? What is this crap with the coaching? What is this crap with the hiring process? What the hell is Phil Emery say? Do you remember that Phil Emery press conference?
How do you forget that?
Oh my God. I re-listened to it today for reasons I'm
Why?
sure
That's
it
punishment.
I've been on a Terry Boers binge.
Fair.
So I was listening to the commentary during that and I'm like, my God. It, if you haven't listened or forgot about how bad that Phil Emery presser was, listen to it, but listen to it with caution. But no, we didn't have a Phil Emery presser. Do you remember how irate you and I were when it was after the 2020 season? They went 8-8. They backed into the playoffs and got annihilated by the Saints. And then you had Ted Phillips and George saying, did we get the quarterback right? No. Did we get enough wins? No. But we're still sticking with Nagy and Pace. Remember that shit show?
I do.
Oh,
I do.
good Lord. But no, it's like, hell, even after 2018, after the double doink, you had the thing with Cody Parkey going on the Today Show. You had oh, well, maybe we'll talk to Kareem Hunt. I don't know, that crap. But for once, we listened to a press conference and we're like, okay, they're self aware. They're saying the things that you should be saying, what you want to hear. And you were spot on with the self awareness, not only with Caleb Williams, but Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson said it wasn't good enough.
Yeah. I mean, here's his quote. It was really hard to accomplish what we accomplished, and it wasn't good enough. There is no building off of this. We go back to square one, and we're back at the beginning or at the bottom again. So
That's
he
how you
knows.
should look at it.
Yeah, he knows that you're starting from scratch. You're starting zero with zero wins, and you need to, you're not anointed. You're not handed anything. You start with zero wins, and you need to build up to 10, 11, 12, 13 wins. That's
Right.
what you have to do.
And when you think about it, that's very similar to what like Dan Campbell would say at the end of the year. So you kind of feel that Dan Campbell rubbing off on him a little bit. But, regardless if it was influence from Dan Campbell or not, it's the truth. You know that you have to play a different brand of football in some aspects to win next year. You know that your schedule is going to be different. You know that the teams around you are going to be a little bit different. And you know, and Ryan Poles said this, he's like, I don't want to be the cardiac Bears anymore. We want to win games handily. We don't want to have to come down to the final five some minutes to come back and win a game every time. They all understand that. And they should understand it. I would be shocked if they didn't understand it. It doesn't take a genius to understand it, but the fact that they're very self-aware and reflecting that, it's nice to hear for all the crap we've heard at these end of year press conferences for our entire lives.
True. And when we look at this team next year, it's very likely going to be pretty different.
Yes.
There's, you know, contract situations that they're going to have to deal with. There's a salary cap, issue that they're going to have to deal with. There's a potential to lose several coaches.
Well, you already lost Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy's gone. He's now the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that was probably a smart move for them. The wild thing is all in the beginning of the season, people talked about, Matt Nagy is going to be a hot commodity in the head coaching search. Matt Nagy, whoop, whoop, whoop. Matt Nagy now is not a hot commodity in the coaching search, and he was not renewed his contract with his offensive coordinator with the Chiefs. He is jobless.
Yeah, I wonder where he ends up.
College, probably.
You think so?
Maybe. I mean, Arthur Smith just went to college.
He did.
Yep. I don't know where, unless Matt Nagy. I mean, Eric Bieniemy. Matt Nagy has a not so different like a arc as Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy, remember, at one point was a hot commodity as a coaching hire.
He was, yes.
And then ended up not getting it after a couple of cycles. And then, went to college and then came back to the NFL and was a running backs coach. And now he's going back. And I think if he does well, maybe he'll get part of that credit for revamping, a really bad season for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, these cycles are not always linear. I mean,
No.
because look at some of the guys who get jobs years after they were a head coach. I mean, look at Lovie Smith. Remember the year he helped us get the number one pick with the Texans? That was in 2022. His last coaching gig was in 2013 with Tampa before he went to U of I, and he was there for a while, then that ended, and you look at the time in between, he was an NFL head coach. It was a long time. And who just got hired? Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, it wasn't nearly as long, but he was out for 2 years. I had a feeling Mike McCarthy was going to go to the Steelers, but I feel like the Steelers just keep trying to hold something together with duct tape and Elmer's glue.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Pittsburgh, blow it up and start from scratch, get a quarterback and build from there.
Right. And you know that if you hire Mike McCarthy, the plan is not to tank.
No. He's Mike McCarthy is perfectly mediocre. He's not going to stink, but he's not going to be good either. He might be all right during the regular season, but what quarterback are they going to have?
Are they going to bring Aaron Rodgers back one more year? Reunite?
I mean, was that part of the plan? Is like Aaron? Well, because Aaron seemed to like Mike Tomlin, so maybe they're like, oh, if Mike Tomlin leaves, what are we going to do? All right, well, maybe he'll stay if we have Mike McCarthy, because they work together. I mean, it's no learning curve.
No, it's not. But if you bring back Aaron Rodgers another year, who, he could still play a little bit, but you can see in tight games the stamina drops as the game goes on in some of those, just being over 40 years old. So I don't know if you look at this as, hey, we're going to bring Rodgers in one more year. He's going to be under Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy knows him. He's won a Super Bowl with him. They've been together, what, from 2006 to 2018. So if you have the year with those two, you try to win something and then you somehow get a quarterback for the long run after that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they've been stuck in this cycle of, yeah, you'll win 9, 10 games and then you'll be out in the wild card round. I mean, they've been doing this for like a decade now. It's just not going to get you anywhere.
I don't know. It's weird. Also, Al Harris has interviewed for a couple defensive coordinator positions. He didn't get the Packers one. Uh, they hired, um, was it Jonathan Gannon?
Yes, Jonathan.
Um, but Al Harris, I think he had one more interview outstanding. I think he might be back.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't get another job, he will be back.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's a little scary that he's interviewing, but and then Declan Doyle is interviewing for the offensive coordinator position for the Philadelphia Eagles. I
Which
don't
is
think he's going to
interesting.
get it. I think I think people are feeling the really young. I think he will eventually move on.
Oh,
I think this might
absolutely.
I think this just might be the year too soon.
I agree. I agree. Especially if you're going to go to Philly, a team where the expectations are Super Bowl.
Yes.
Because what? Kellen Moore left and we saw how that dropped off. And you know that they're very unforgiving when things drop off like that quickly.
So I think we're only going to end up losing the enemy, and it'll be curious to see how Ben Johnson goes about replacing him. Uh, if he goes to like a known commodity or if he just I've heard rumblings that they bring in Matt Forte.
I heard that too.
I don't think they will, but um just because you were a good running back and you played for this team doesn't mean you're a good coach. Um, but it doesn't hurt anything either. So I
You know
don't
what?
know.
You know what I say at the end of the day is I'm going to trust Ben Johnson to do the right thing.
I think so. I think that's where I'm looking at it too.
Isn't that the most comforting thing of all is you don't have to worry too much about who you hire in some of these marginal coaching areas because you trust the head coach.
Oh my God, it's such a good feeling.
Like with Matt Eberflus the first few years, and it's like, well, we got to rely a lot on Luke Getsy to be the offensive genius and the one that's going to take this offense out of the darkness. Well, if they could just get that right, it's like, listen, even if like Declan Doyle leaves or some of your offensive coaches leave, your head coach is your architect, and he's not going anywhere.
Um, so it's looking like the Bears will hire Will Lawing from Boston College, uh, potentially to be the running back coach.
All right. And I feel like with the running back coach, obviously it's very valuable in the building, but I think the reason why it was such a talked about topic with the Bears the past year, mainly because Eric Bieniemy is a big name in the coaching world. Like this is a guy that's worn every hat in an NFL building. Yeah, he's been an offensive coordinator. He's done pretty much every job. So I think that obviously you want them to hire the right guy, but I'm just not here sweating it out. And I don't think anybody really is.
Another rumor is that it could be Deuce Staley, former running back of the Philadelphia Eagles, and he was a former running back coach for the Eagles, Lions, Panthers, and Browns.
He said Staley.
Yeah, Deuce Staley.
Huh. Well,
He overlapped with Ben Johnson.
that would make sense. I
And
just think it's funny.
worked with DeAndre Swift as well.
They were once called Staley.
Would be interesting, interesting, interesting.
But we don't have to worry about the coaching cycle. We don't have to sit here and wonder who are they interviewing, who's in the room, who's making the decision, all the stress we went through last year until they hired Ben Johnson. I mean, I remember being mentally prepared for Mike McCarthy being the hire. I'll never forget it. I'm like, it's going to be Mike McCarthy, isn't it? And then they hired Ben Johnson. And hopefully we don't have to go through that process again for a very, very long time.
Um, yeah, well, yeah, and this coaching cycle has been ridiculous. This, I mean, the people being fired late, people being fired that probably didn't deserve to be fired, the people that are being interviewed. I mean, Buffalo firing their head coach and then interviewing Philip Rivers.
What a mess. What a mess that franchise is. Because you know the whole story about the draft, right?
Yeah,
You heard that story.
I did.
And then the press conference with the owner chiming in the middle of it. I'm like, whoo, boy, there are some doozy press conferences, and it's not the Bears. Yeah, Philip Rivers. Now, I don't know if that was an actual serious interview or maybe just like, hey, let's pick his brain, but it's still, the optics are very weird because you fired a legit head coach. And I understand, like, listen, that's a team that has been a Super Bowl contender for years, and for a number of reasons, you've never been able to get over the AFC Championship hump. And it's a very unforgiving league. And when you don't get the results after a while that are desired, you get canned. But again, it was very late, and it was at a time where you're like, who is definitively better or has more of an upside at this point? Are you going to bring Brian Dable back to be your head coach?
I think that's what's going to end up happening.
I could see it.
I mean, I mean, there was talks about, firing their head coach and promoting Brian Dable when he left to go to the Giants. Um, I mean, Josh Allen was fantastic under him. I mean, he's fantastic under everybody, but uh, I I don't think I think it's better than any of the other options I've heard.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying your options are limited unless maybe they got wind that Brian Dable would be interested and they're like, all right, we're gonna make that change or whatever. But outside of that, who's out there that's overly intriguing to you?
For the Bills, nobody.
Right. Right.
I mean, you could go after Mike Tomlin, but you're going to have to trade for him because he's under
Right.
contract with the Steelers.
Right.
Um, you could go after the
Matt
guy
Nagy.
you could go after Matt Nagy. You could go after the guy the Raiders just fired. Like there's I mean, I don't love any of the options there.
I mean, you could go Brian Flores, but he's a defensive-minded head coach. I think Brian Flores deserves to be a head coach. I just don't know if that's the right fit there.
I was so worried that somehow he was going to wind up with the Packers.
Oh, yeah. No.
Um,
That's not happening. But he's looking like he's going to stay in Minnesota.
yeah, which fine because they don't have a quarterback.
Well, and I think he was also interviewing for the Vegas job, but they I don't think they filled that one yet, have they? They
I
haven't
don't think
replaced
so.
Pete Carroll yet.
I don't think so.
Because okay, Kevin Stefanski went to Atlanta,
Atlanta.
and
Hmm.
yeah, Baker Mayfield aired some dirty
Oh
laundry on
yeah,
that.
he did.
Yeah. So he goes to Atlanta, and then the Giants got Harbaugh. Pittsburgh got Mike McCarthy,
Ravens got Jesse Minter.
Jesse Minter. The Titans. Who did the Titans hire?
Well, the Dolphins got Jeff Halfley,
The
the
Packers coordinator. Yes.
um
Did you see that Ross forgot his name? The owner of the Dolphins.
that's
He for
funny.
Yeah, it's like, oh boy, old man, just
Titan Titans got Robert Saleh.
Robert Saleh, thank you. That's another example that we talked about. It's like head coach, coordinator, head coach. So Robert Saleh gets another chance. And you know what? Let him get another chance because when you coach the Jets, you're pretty much set up to
I
fail.
mean, well, the thing is when he coached the Jets, they had like such a good defense, but they had they had no quarterback. They had an injured quarterback.
Well, that was that the year Rodgers got hurt in the
Yeah,
opening game. Yeah,
yeah.
right.
Like
You're
and
just kind of shit out of luck there.
like it was the least Jets sucking, run that they've had. So I was a little shocked, but so I mean, he's going to go somewhere where they've got a quarterback and he's going to try to build something there. I don't hate Robert Saleh. I was hoping that he would be the Bears defensive coordinator when Ben Johnson came. That was my
Yeah,
hope.
yeah, right. I remember that. I remember you saying that.
Um, so, he gets another shot. But it's a weird cycle. And the Browns, nobody wants to go there.
Yeah, because didn't McDaniel back out of that among others?
Yeah, oh my God. So they hire him for a job and then he goes then gets asked to do an interview for a different job.
Yep. And then I know because he is right now he's committed to being the OC for the Chargers, but I believe he was also interviewing for the Vegas job.
Yeah.
I just wonder how Harbaugh and McDaniel are going to mix.
Like oil and water.
It just seems like such a weird, just weird. That's all I can describe it. But I
Uh,
understand him not wanting to go to the Browns. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, the Browns is a disaster job. Ownership is bad and they're too involved. It's
And
just
you're going to
that's
have to find someone that believes in Shakir Sanders.
I think Clint Kubiak's probably going to be hired in Vegas,
I could see that.
but you can't do anything until maybe tomorrow, maybe in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Depends. Um, Browns, I have no idea what they're going to do.
I don't know.
None idea.
Hey, maybe Matt Nagy will be desperate for a job.
That would be hilarious. That
Matt
would be
Nagy,
such a
head coach of the
disaster.
Browns. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine Shakir Sanders trying to learn that Matt Nagy offense where you're like looking at a Denny's menu filled with just complicated scribbles and lines and you're like, what the hell is this?
Uh, a Bills blog is saying that they're expecting Davis Webb to be the head coach of the Bills.
Think he's definitely better than Sean McDermott?
No.
Neither do I, but I guess we'll see.
But there's some sad news I want to talk about, and you mentioned something touching that earlier.
Yeah.
Um, Former original score radio host Terry Bores died today. Uh, he had a longtime show with Dan McNeil and Bores. And then They uh, after McNeil did McNeil stuff, then you had Boers and Bernstein, which was a really, really long running show.
It's the show
And,
I grew up with. My brother and I would listen to it.
and until Terry retired in 2017 when he got cancer. And he passed away today at the age of 75 with a liver failure and cancer.
Yeah, he was sick for a long time. It was heartbreaking to see him after all these years, and you could just tell the cancer took the toll. And I remember listening live when he announced his retirement back in early it was December 2016 when he announced he was retiring. I'll never forget listening to it on the radio, and it hit really hard. And he was before that, he was a longtime columnist in Chicago. Was it the Tribune or the Sun Times? Why am I
The
drawing
Sun
a
Times.
blank?
Sun
The Sun
Times.
Times. The Sun
Yep.
Times. I actually have his book, his biography. So I'll have to read it again.
Yeah, my friend Brad and I, when we were in, you know, college age, we would call into uh Jiggets North and Boers, McNeil and Boers, and we would call in as and we would fax in too. So we were at our job faxing in as Fritz and Smitty, and we would just say dumb stuff. And but like they would read our comments from faxes on the air. This one from Fritz and Smitty.
Faxes. Talk about
Uh,
a time that no longer exists. Facsimile machines.
they still exist in the medical world.
They do. The medical and law world, they do. They do.
It's amazing that nothing better has come aboard.
I wonder if it's just like a secure thing, like a safety, you're not
No,
sharing
no, it's
information.
not because you everybody dials the wrong number because you're manually dialing a number and people inevitably like send it to the wrong place and then
True,
faxes just show up. What the hell is
true.
this?
Is it the episode of The Office? No, that was an email when Michael accidentally sends the picture of him and Jan from Jamaica.
That
That
was
was an
the
email.
email.
Packaging. Wow, I just got this. Wow, this is hot. But
Uh,
yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. But I don't know if it's like, hey, your data could get stolen if you do electronic transfers or hacking or something like that. I don't know if that's the reason, but it's not something the common man uses anymore.
yeah. But it's sad to see him go. I mean, he could be controversial at times, but he
Yes.
was he was a good beat writer. And when he gave up that job at the Sun Times, like it wasn't like some of the others that had were much more established. Like he was still like, building his career, and he had he was a young dad, and he took a huge leap of faith to go to the Score,
Huge. Yeah. Uh-huh.
and it paid off it just tenfold. So I'm glad it worked out, but yeah, he brought a lot to that station and to sports radio in general.
Yeah, and I look forward this week to, on my drives to and from work, listening to some of the tributes that they're going to be doing for him. I'm sure they're going to be playing a lot of sound. They're going to have a lot of guests talk about it. And, again, this weekend, I just went on YouTube and listened to a bunch of old Six Seven the Score clips with him. And it just some of the jokes and the laughs just brought back a lot of memories. So he'll definitely be missed.
Yeah, I'll have to tune into the Dan Bernstein podcast.
Oh, I'm sure his next episode is going to be completely dedicated to tributing Terry.
Yep.
I remember listening to the Toast to Terry, his final play, as a radio host. He's obviously guested from time to time, but listening to like his guest appearances, it was always fun, but it was never quite the same as just being the regular host. So that last episode was really, really emotional. So, R.I.P. Uncle Terry, Larry Horse.
Yeah, Uncle Terry. Uh, yeah. Um, should we talk some baseball?
Sure.
We haven't talked White Sox in a while.
No, and they've been quite the topic of conversation.
Yeah, so they just brought in a closer, Sir Anthony Dominguez for
Whenever I hear his name, I just picture it as Sir Anthony.
and they paid a good amount of money for him.
Hmm. Which, hey, you
Um,
have the money to spend.
you do. You have a ton of money. Interesting piece in. He walks way too many people,
That's his one flaw, yes.
but man, that K rate is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean, he's got really, really good stuff. High velocity, high octane, gets a lot of swing and miss. He's able to work around a lot of it with his stuff. And he's coming off a really, really good year. And it's one of those situations where you look at it and you're like, okay, to me, they're clearly trying to win more games. If it was a 1 year deal, I'd say this is definitely a deadline flip. But on a 2 year deal, I'm not as sure. Even if they're, like a 75 win team, yeah, I think they really just want to start winning some games. And, their bullpen has blown more games than you could count over these past 2 years. So bringing in an established, legit arm is a big boost for that bullpen, obviously.
And experience playing in the postseason.
Yes. Yes, that too. Because he was
Um,
just on the Blue Jays.
yeah, and then his time in Philadelphia too.
That too.
Uh, so I thought that was a good signing.
Yes.
I mean, it's one of those things is you don't have. I don't think you're going to be in a position where those wins are so meaningful. So if he blows some because of walks, all right, you're bringing in a guy that just has some good stuff, and it's going to boost a really bad bullpen
Yes.
because he's
And
he's going to
yes.
walk in day one and be the closer.
Right. Right. Now, he hasn't been traditionally a closer for the long part of his career, but he has gotten some saves before. So I think now is the time where you plug him right into that spot. And the thing is, too, is he's going in with that expectation so he could kind of mentally prepare for it.
So yeah, I thought that was a good signing, a sneaky good one.
Yes, I agree.
So I mean, congratulations to the White Sox. I think, you had a dog shit bullpen, and this when you figure out a closer situation, everything starts to fall into place.
Hmm.
The Cubs do it a different way. They find multiple high leverage guys and situational type things. I'm always a big believer in you got a closer. You get a guy. And sure, it's nice to have multiple like high leverage guys that you can put in different situations, but it's always nice to have the guy. And the White Sox got a guy.
Yes,
Um, the White Sox also they finally moved Luis Robert.
they did. And I think you and I knew that they were, regardless of the value, they were going to move him this year. It was just a matter of when. And I know there's a lot of controversy because you could say you waited too long to move him when you were clearly rebuilding. You could have waited to move him to try to get more value for him. There's a lot of hindsight there, I think. And the way they were talking after the move, it's like, well, we're going to make moves after this. And they did. But there is a little bit of frustration, like, oh, you had a tiny payroll and you needed to move Luis Robert to have flexibility. That's a little annoying. But either way, Luis Robert wasn't going to be on the White Sox past this year regardless. He was on the last year of his deal. He wasn't going to get re-signed. And you were selling low because his value is not where it was a few years ago. In
In
2023, he was very good in an all-star. That's not where he's been the past few years.
in a total White Sox move, rather than buy him out, they picked up the option and then they traded him and got less in return for the Mets picking up the full contract. So now the Mets will be on the hook after this season with an option. So the White Sox got off without having to pay the $2 million buyout.
Right.
And, you brought in, I mean, the one player, Ronald Acuna's brother, is it pronounced Luis Angel?
Luis Angel, Luis Angel. I've heard it both.
He is Ronald Acuna's brother,
Mm-hmm.
less talented brother. And I think he's going to be your center fielder.
Well, who else is going to be?
That's the thing. So he's the key.
Montgomery's not going to be up for a little bit, so someone's got to be.
So, I mean, looking at this right now, and then, they got Murakami to play. He's probably going to be your first baseman.
Right.
So Kyle Teal is going to be your catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Miguel Vargas at third.
Mm-hmm.
Colson Montgomery at short.
Yep.
Chase Mydroth at second.
Mm-hmm.
Murakami at first. Benintendi in left.
Mm-hmm.
Acuna in center. Brooks Baldwin in right. Edgar Caro at DH.
Yeah, sounds about right, assuming health. Unless you go out and because there's been some rumors where they were in on Michael Conforto, and I feel like at that point that's just like hey, let's just bring in a veteran and just have somebody to play a right field position. I don't think there's any harm in it, even if he's not that good.
I just your outfield stinks.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, Luis Robert, no matter what, in terms of the hitting, he was always a good fielder. He was always very, very good at that. So obviously you lose a bit of range out there, but you have a lot of promising outfield prospects. They're just not ready to come up yet. So, I mean, if you decided to go, because I think there's Michael Conforto, I think Austin Riley is still available. There are a few other. Mike Talkman is technically still available. I don't know if you bring him back.
I don't think they're going to bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they wanted to, they would have already, but I don't know for sure. We'll see where he ends up. Looking at it right now. Oh, who else was available? Not Austin Riley. Not Austin Riley. Oh, it was another guy that was on the Braves. He was on the Red Sox. I'm completely blanking on his name. Verdugo.
Oh, okay.
Verdugo. That's the other guy I was thinking of. I don't know why I was thinking of Austin Riley. Not even the same position. But yeah, those are some of the free agents that are still out there in terms of position players or outfielders. There are still some starting pitchers out there. Like Chris Bassett is still out there. Zach Gallen
Rambler
is still out there.
Valdez.
Well, he's really tanked his value. Like that should be one of the top free agents in baseball. But he kind of tanked his value for being a shitty teammate, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But he's out there.
I'm looking at, let's see. Out. Let's look at right fielders. Starling Marte. Max Kepler.
He's suspended.
Oh, you're right.
Andrew McCutcheon's available.
Yeah. Jason Hayward. He retired, but
Yes.
you could bring him back. Randall Grichuk. Tommy Pham.
Yeah, bring him back. Fight the Brewers again.
Hunter Renfroe.
He's still a thing?
Yeah, apparently. Harrison Bader.
That was the other one there was another name I knew. I'm like, I know I'm blanking on somebody. That would actually be a decent move if they did that.
Kevin Pillar.
Isn't he retired?
I don't know, probably.
Wasn't Kevin Pillar on the Sox for like 3 games a few years ago?
I think he was. Yeah, Michael Conforto. Austin Slater. Yeah, Alex Verdugo. Jesse Winkler. Not a lot of good options there.
No, but I feel like you can very easily bring in one of those guys just as a veteran, hold down the fort type thing.
Um, what if the White Sox brought in Suarez to play third?
I was actually thinking about that the other day because then you can easily just move him at the deadline and get something in return.
I mean,
But I think they want Vargas to develop. That's the thing.
mm, it's, Vargas is never going to be Suarez,
No,
even a
but
34-year-old Suarez.
no. And I'm still not fully sold on Vargas, but I think that's what they want.
Vargas is less money.
Well, that too.
But looking at the White Sox, I mean, they've got a lot of young pitchers in the farm system,
They do. Yep.
but this is what I think the starting rotation is going to be at the beginning of the season. This will absolutely change a couple months in, but
Hmm.
Shane Smith, Davis Martin, Sean Burke, Anthony Kay, and Sean Newcomb.
Yeah.
I think that's your starting five going into opening day.
And then you might see Noah Schultz at some point and some of the other guys they have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to see a lot of those younger pitchers come up by the second half of the season.
And didn't they say Jonathan Cannon's going to the bullpen?
That's what they said.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's like the sixth rotation guy slash long reliever.
Maybe. Yeah.
Um, who knows? But I mean, the infield's not terrible.
No, it's not. There's a lot of promise on that infield. And obviously, Kyle Teal and Edgar Caro, there's a lot of promise there. I'm interested to see how Colson Montgomery does in his second stint in the majors. Last year he just went on that absolute home run tear, which was insane. Obviously, you depend on him having a lot of power. It'll just be interesting to see him play over a full season. And there's going to be with a young player with a big power swing like that. There'll be some ups and downs and bumps in the road, but that's part of developing a young player.
Yeah, I mean, what happens is when you got the power stroke like that is they'll watch the film and find the hole in your swing, and
Right.
then you've got to adjust from there. Hopefully, with Murakami in there, they kind of protect each other in the lineup. Um, as both guys got big power. Um, but we'll see how that looks. I I'm not down on their whole infield. I mean, Teal is going to be really good. Montgomery was really good last year. Mydroth started off hot. Um, I don't love Miguel Vargas, but uh, it's just that outfield stinks.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to live through another year of Andrew Benintendi, and
The last year,
is it the last year?
I think so.
I thought it was a 5-year deal, unless the fifth year was a.
Um,
Well, let's see. He was here in 23, 24, 25, 26. It was either a 4 or 5-year deal, but
let's see. Oh, nope. He's he's here next year too.
yeah. He
Wishful
does give you
thinking.
he gives you 20 home runs, and yeah, he's a weird ball player because he either hits for like a good average but zero power, or he will do like jack squat in terms of average or on base, but he'll hit like 20 homers. He's one of the weirdest players I think in this era of baseball.
Andrew Benintendi, highest paid White Sox player ever.
Yeah. Well, maybe that'll change someday when
Maybe.
Jerry's no longer the controlling owner of the White Sox.
Uh, but I'm not even mad about the potential of Acuna being the center fielder. Um, You know,
Hey, you see what you get.
you see what you get. It would just be nice to have a veteran on the other side of him or somebody with a little more talent.
I
But
definitely feel like there's another move or two in the Sox, even if it's not huge, huge.
I mean, got the money.
You do. You got the money, you got the flexibility. I would not be surprised if they added another starter.
That we'll see. We'll see.
I have a feeling they're going to add an outfielder.
That's the hope. That would be the hope.
There's not a lot of great options out there, like you said, but I think if you landed a Harrison Bader, that would be pretty good.
I mean, it's better than what you got.
Right.
Not saying Harrison Bader is awesome or anything.
No, 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 but it's an improvement.
Yeah, it's just you're just trying to add some veteran presence in there. I mean, otherwise, you've got a really young lineup. Cunha, other than Benintendi, it would be just a bunch of young players.
Yeah, and you see where the value is, you see what you get.
Uh, so going to the north side, it's seeming like Yu Darvish is going to retire.
Well, Bob says that, and then you said, "Oh, I'm still weighing my options," but I don't know. I because he's going to be out like this year, right? And he's in his 40s. I, I don't know. I would not be surprised if he doesn't pitch again.
I love Yu Darvish.
So do I.
Uh, if this is it, he had a nice career.
Oh, he had a great career.
Not going to the Hall of Fame, but he made himself a lot of money and won a lot of baseball games and pitched really good baseball.
Yeah, he is one of those pitchers where he was always going to have the dominant stuff. And you know that there were times where things looked a little rough, but he was always able to balance it out with just an insane arsenal of like hybrid pitches and things that move like a sinker but also act like a splitter or like some weird slurvy breaking ball where it's kind of a sweeper, kind of a curve. Like he was able to manipulate all these different pitch types, and it was really, really fun when he was able to execute on some of those. And when he could pump in a fastball in the upper 90s, he could do it.
I loved when he'd introduced those new pitches, and you were like, "Damn,
It reminds you of like what Wild Thing Vaughn was trying to do in Major League Two. That's the Eliminator. That's the Terminator. I call that one the Masturbator.
I forgot all about that." I haven't seen Major League Two in a minute.
Okay, my hot take is I actually like Major League Two.
I don't remember if I liked it or disliked it. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I like it because the villain Jack Parkman is the perfect baseball villain. You need to rewatch it.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
You should. And yes, it's very copy paste from the first one, but I don't care. I enjoy it. If you don't remember, Lou Brown has the heart attack, and then Jake Taylor takes over as manager
Yeah, I remember
while
that
while
much.
he's in the hospital. And instead of the Yankees, the White Sox are the big opposing team, which is kind of funny. I don't know why the White Sox are villains in several movies. Like they were the villains in Angel in the Outfield too. Although those movies were made in the 90s and that's when the Sox were really good, with like Frank Thomas. Not that Frank Thomas was in any of those movies, but it is still kind of weird. It's like the White Sox being villains. It's like, okay, that's random. I know it's cliche to have the Yankees, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I'll have to see if it's streaming anywhere.
I have an old DVD of it lying around.
I don't even have a hooked up DVD player right now.
Well, so one of the TVs I have, the one I have by my bed, it's got a like one of those DVD players built into it in the back, where it's like the flat screen, and then you have like
Hmm.
the slit in the back. You put the disc in.
Gotcha. Yeah, um we had so like the where we had like the PS5 and the VHS and the DVD player. That was in my daughter's room, and she decided she didn't want a TV in there. So okay. Um, so we moved everything out, and it's not none of it's plugged in. So uh, I'll have to. I might have the DVD of that. I know I have Major League One.
Yeah, I got both. Just don't watch the third one. That one's not worth your time.
I didn't even know there was a third one.
There is. It's called Major League 3 Back to the Minors. It's not even about the Cleveland Indians. It's the Minnesota Twins for some reason.
Is anybody in it?
Uh Harry Doyle is in it, and like some of the secondary characters like Rube Baker from the second one, the dumb catcher.
Yeah.
I I don't know if Willie Mays Hayes is in it or not. He might be. But like Charlie Sheen or Tom Berenger, and I don't even think Corbin Burnson were in it. I don't think. Here, let me do a quick Google search. I don't know if I've ever even watched the entire movie. It's that bad. Let's see. Major League 3. Yeah, 4.7 rating on IMDb. Okay, so Corbin Burnson was in it. So Roger Doran is in it. Pedro Serrano is in it.
Fuck you, Jobu. Do it myself.
Tanaka from the second one is in it. Rube
And
Baker from the
they're all
second
playing
one
for
is
the
in it.
Twins now?
Yes. And then yeah, so no Tom Berenger and no Charlie Sheen. And no Lou Brown.
So weird.
Yeah, it was made in 1998. So, a lousy minor league baseball team bursting with diverse personalities gets a new manager and aging major league pitcher. So, I guess like, oh, some of the guys from that old Cleveland team got old and they're just rotting in the minors now. Okay. Yeah, the Buzz, the minor league affiliate of the Twins, I guess. I don't know. Scott Bakula is in it.
Bakula. Scott
Bakula.
Bakula. Yeah.
Bakula. That's a
Scott.
familiar. He looks familiar. What else is he in?
He was in
Oh, Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Yeah, I knew I recognized him from somewhere, and he was in American Beauty. Okay, okay. I knew I recognized his face somewhere. I'm like that guy's. I've seen that guy before. Yeah,
Scott Bakula.
yeah, yeah. Dennis Haysbert, the Allstate guy from those commercials a
Oh,
long
it's got
time ago.
Walton Goggins in it though.
Yes, it does.
Hmm.
I forgot he was in that movie. Not saying you should watch it, but huh.
Chuck Swartzky. Good old Chuck Swartzky.
There had to be a pun.
That one is air. That is on Tubi. But it doesn't seem like Major League 2 is streaming anywhere.
That's weird.
Hmm.
Oh shit, that one guy, the guy that plays him is from the guy from Fargo. It was Stan's friend. We're not a bank, Jerry. Knew I recognized him. Anywho, watch Major League 2, don't watch Major League 3.
I'm
Unless
gonna
you
try to
really
find
want to
it.
watch Major League 3.
I might have to.
Now that we've talked about it.
The tagline for Major League 3 is they're just 9 players short of a dream team.
That's actually kind of funny.
Is there a tagline for Major League 2?
I don't remember if there was.
Tagline: the dream team is back.
Not
That's
very
not a very
creative.
good one.
No. That's like when they said the Shack is back for Caddyshack 2. Have you ever seen Caddyshack 2?
Oh God, that movie's terrible.
Oh, it's so bad. Where Jackie Mason tries to imitate Rodney Dangerfield. And I think Jackie Mason could be hilarious, but in that role, it was like, oh my God, this is brutal.
Uh,
Caddyshack 2. Ugh. It makes me shiver just thinking about it.
but in other Cubs news, Kyle Tucker is now on the Dodgers.
Yep, figures.
It's like that's going to be the reason that a hard salary cap goes in.
Oh, there's going to be a work stoppage next year. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Um, but that sucks.
Well, did you see like his AAV is like 60 million a year, but they're paying like 90% of it in the form of a signing bonus, and his actual salary is going to be like 1 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Otani.
Except
Like,
there's not really deferrals, it's just you're paying it as a signing bonus.
yeah, it's so ridiculous.
How like I'm not saying that what the Dodgers are doing it's wrong. It's technically legal, but how is that legal?
I don't know. I mean, it's available for everybody.
Right. Teams just listen, I'm the one that says other billionaire owners should definitely invest more in their teams. But the truth does exist that the Dodgers have more income and more revenue coming in and just more stream of money than any other team has in baseball for a number of reasons. You know, the private equity owners and the sweet TV deal they figured out well before the death of RSNs, and now the international with Shohei Otani, the revenue that comes in there, all tied up in a big market with a historic franchise. Yeah, I mean, you have money that teams just don't have. Again, not excusing other billionaires from not spending, but even if Bob Nutting, the Pirates, wanted to and should spend a lot more, they're not going to have the same payroll realistically as the Dodgers. No team will.
But we got some decent news this week. Justin Steele isn't throwing off of a mound.
Yep, I look forward to his return. I mean, luckily the rotation right now is pretty deep, but him being back will make your team better.
Yeah, because he's still the ace of this rotation.
Correct.
Um, so looking at the roster right now as it stands, and there's still a lot of free agents left in this right now. A lot.
Yes.
Uh, you're looking at Bregman at third, Swanson at short, Nico at second, Bush at first, Miguel Amaya catching, Ballesteros DH, Happ in left, PCA in center, and Seiya in right. Your rotation is probably, and who knows how this plays out, but I'm guessing this is we're in January still, so this is a long way to go. I know pitchers and catchers report in what, like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks.
It's coming.
Is Cade Horton, Cabrera, I mean,
Shota.
eventually Justin Steele, Jamison Tyone, Shota Imanaga.
Mm-hmm. Hey, where's Matthew Boyd going to be? Are you going to go with the 6-man rotation?
Boyd will be there until Steele's back. I'm imagining Steele probably doesn't pitch until May sometime.
Right, it's going to take some time, and I think the nice thing about Boyd is you can be flexible with him.
And I think Boyd could be very good again if you don't have to lean on him so hard.
Right.
I mean, what would be nice is giving the flexibility to take a start away from Shota when the matchup's not good for Shota.
Well, and yeah, Craig Counsell is a man of matchups, so I think you can pull that kind of thing off. I mean, if you send Shota to a hitter-friendly ballpark for a team that slugs on a fastball a lot, it's like, okay, that might be an opportunity where you can create that matchup.
Yeah, the wind is blowing out at Wrigley against the Dodgers. Maybe you don't want to pitch him, or against the Mets. Maybe you don't want to pitch him there. Um, and you want to save him for a day that the wind's blowing in. Okay, that gives you the flexibility. So I think that's good. Um, I don't love where the Cubs are. It would have been nice for them I to get another corner outfielder that's actually really good. Uh, and then put Seiya back at DH because I like Seiya better DH. You're not limited by his defense, and he's healthier. When he's playing outfield, he runs the risk of getting injured again, and that sucks.
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of things happening in right field as the roster stands right now. It could change, but they did pick up Chas McCormick on a minor league deal. So he may or may not make the team. He's an NRI, but that is potentially a defensive option you put out there. He hasn't hit well in a few years. He used to be pretty productive, but the last few years, not so much. But, assuming what you're working with right now is Say is going to play some games in right. Matt Shaw might play some games in right. He's starting to get reps in the outfield. And then when Seiya is in right, then your DH can be Moises Ballesteros. I think it's going to depend on the matchup.
Um, I mean, you're getting into that Joe Madden territory of wonky, lineups.
But here's the thing I will say is right field is really the only mystery spot.
Yeah,
Everything else is locked down.
yeah, but Ian Happ didn't have a good year last year, and he's getting up there. Would you love to upgrade that?
Yeah, but he's going to be on the team.
He's going to be on the team.
So, what would you do alternatively? Would you bench
I
him?
No, I mean, well, I just don't know who you'd bench him for.
Right. So I
I'm
I mean
I'm gonna
that's not
throw
going to change.
I'm gonna throw an interesting idea, and there's 0% chance of this happening. Exactly 0%. Is what if you move Nico for a corner outfielder with some pop? And then in free agency, you go after uh um the guy uh from San Diego, um Arias.
No. 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 No, 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 no. He is a terrible ball player outside of hitting singles. He
He's a bad
he's
infielder.
he is an awful fielder. He has no power. He doesn't walk. I used to really like Arise. I love the fact that he would just go up there and make contact, but to get rid of Nico, no. No. Nico is so much more of a fundamentally sound player. He is an elite defender. His IQ is much higher. He doesn't have power, but he has more power than Luis Ariz. No. And you're talking to someone that a few years ago really wanted Luis Ariz. And then I realized, oh, he's elite at making contact. He's elite at hitting singles and a high batting average, but he is absolute dog wiener at everything else.
I mean, it's it's not going to happen. He's a terrible fielder, and you have made a concerted effort to have a really good infield.
Right. Run prevention is part of that model. That doesn't fit the model of Jed or Carter.
But boy, would it be nice to have somebody that can just consistently put the ball in play and get on base.
That and he's much better at a lot of other things.
But there, I still say where there's smoke, there's fire, and Nico's not on this team until he's on this team.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
I j- it,
Teams are the reason you're hearing the rumors is because teams are inquiring about him because they know he's on the last year of his deal. That's what I believe.
I don't know. We'll see how this
I think
goes.
they value him way too much, and I think that they would want to extend him before they cast him off. That's my hope, at least.
We'll see.
Can I just read you some stats real quick?
Is it Luis Arise fielding stats?
It's Luis Arise stats, yes.
Okay.
So last year, he had a quote down year in terms of average. He hit 292. This was a guy who hit 314, 354, 316 in the past 3 years. He's elite at making contact. There is no question about that. But he was a .9 WAR player last year. .9.
Most of this is defense, right? Dragging it down.
No defense, no power, and let's see, the OBP 327. Now, a few years ago, the OBP was much higher. 2023, he had a really good year, 354, 393, 469. But the past 2 years, his slugging was exactly 392. His WRC plus 104, 109. Again, not bad. 131 in 2023. So I mean, those numbers aren't awful, but again, you're getting a lot of singles, and contact is good in a number of occasions. And if you said, "Hey, here's Luis Arise to be a bench guy," all for it, all fucking for it. Now I'm gonna bring up his fielding. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there's a number of stats out there fielding that I like to use. Defensive runs saved, uh, outs above average, and fielding runs value. Those are StatCast stats. So, okay. So at second base, he's a career -6 DRS. That's not good. It's not unbelievably horrifying. It could be a lot worse, but it's certainly not good.
I mean,
Um,
but that's second base. Like that's the easiest position to field.
but he's a -35 outs above average at that position. That means he has the range of a snail. Do you want a snail at second base, Sean?
I
Do you
don't.
want a snail at
I was
second
just
base?
trying to create conversation here.
I love
I,
snails.
I didn't know I would be triggering you. Somewhere Alex is sitting there at his house just with his eye twitching. He won't stop twitching.
Again, listen, if you said Luis Arise, he's going to be your number one guy off the bench in a pinch hitting spot where you need contact, boom, I'm for it. All for it. And here's the other thing too is if you didn't have a good second baseman and you said, you know what, here's Luis Arise, he's going to at least hit a bunch of singles for you and make contact. Okay, it's the fact that you would be replacing Nico Horner. Nico Horner, who has been a 4-win player the past few years and one of the elite defenders in baseball, and far and away the best defender at second base in baseball by a country mile.
What do you think the odds are that Kevin Alcantara wins one of the corner outfield spots starting?
See, he's a weird one because you can't really send him down. I think he's out of options, right?
I think I read that. Yeah.
So I wonder if I don't know. Because, listen, there is a scenario where Moises Ballesteros struggles. He can be sent down to the minors. And then you say, okay, Seiya, UDH, Alcantara, you can play most of the time in right field, and Shaw will be our super utility man around the diamond. That's possible.
That's what I'm thinking because I think it's probably a really good possibility that Ballesteros struggles.
It could. He could. I'm high on him, but you never know.
And I'm not high on him. I think he just needs more time.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is going to be his second real big shot at the majors. It was a small sample size last year. It looked really darn good, but there's going to be adjustments made and counter adjustments. And yeah, I mean, it's very possible that he does go through struggles this year, and at least you have that safety net if he does.
Yeah. So my hope is that Alcantara just comes out and figures it out and is the guy. That would be great. And
Well,
then
and defensively too, he's your best bet, I would think.
you could put Saya back at DH and then you could spell you wouldn't be relying on Hap all the time. But we'll see. I mean, we've got a couple months
Hmm.
and spring training's going to be interesting.
At least I didn't want to put a snail at second base.
Your eye is twitching like Virginia McCaskey hearing a swear word. I will say this, that no matter what the Cubs do, they're not going to win the World Series this year. The Dodgers just bought another World Series.
Well, you got to play.
You do,
I mean,
but it's not a fair.
they were nanometers from losing that series twice.
Uh, Not to the Cubs.
Well, the Cubs didn't play them.
I know, but like
The
that
Cubs played them good last year, though.
in the regular season
Yes, yes,
when the Dodgers just sort of coasted through.
yes, you're right.
Eh, Meh. Want to talk a little Hawks here? We haven't talked to them in a minute. Or about them in a minute.
Yeah, and then I got Bulls thoughts at the end.
Um, so the Blackhawks had two really tough opponents back-to-back games in Carolina and Tampa. And based on the eyeball test and analytics, they did not play well. But if you look at the result, they got points in both games, which is a good thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were able to kind of Houdini that second game really against the Lightning where they were being outshot like crazy. But I was pretty impressed with the way they hung in there despite that. I mean, they were coming back from, what was it, Raleigh, where they won a really good game against a really good Hurricanes team, and you had Ollie Moore scoring the shootout goal on his birthday. They could have easily gotten killed, but they were very close to winning that game. But I will not complain. 3 out of 4 points against those opponents.
Right. Um, and then I think you have another shitty back-to-back game with Colorado and somebody else coming up.
Well, they're losing, yeah, and they're losing to Florida right now.
But uh, yeah, I mean it's a weird team. It's nice to have Nazar back. Um, but you've got the trade deadline coming up, and there's three names that I think are potential trade candidates: Jason Dickinson, Ilya Mikheyev, and Connor Murphy.
Yeah,
And we've talked about Connor Murphy at the trade deadline for a long
eons.
time now. And I think this might be the year that he goes.
You won't get much, but he's like the
He-
longest he's like one of the longest tenured Chicago athletes.
yeah, he's been here a minute now. I mean, I don't know if you're going to get a lot for any of these guys,
No, you're not. You're not.
but it's really just opening up space for young players to play.
Exactly. Yeah. This isn't about building up assets. You've done that. you've built up the young players in your organization, you've built up the draft capital. So, yeah, exactly. It's finding that room because going forward that Connor Murphy's not going to be part of the future Blackhawks
Oh, because he's old.
era. Right. So you're going to move on from that. And you're not going to trade Turbo or Bertuzzi because they're kind of those veteran guys helping develop some of these young offensive pieces. And
Right.
Bertuzzi's having a really good year.
Yeah. It would be nice though if they could stabilize these lines. They just haven't figured out the right lines for these young players yet.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They did kind of a jungle today. Blash Hill came out with some of the lines, and they're not having so great of a game. So it's kind of like, I don't know. But, it's a work in progress. And it's one of those things where you just look at what's going on and you look at how they're trying to develop. And I get you just, now's your time to try different things and see what works best. Connor Bedard, he's obviously been back and you've seen him do some good things, but I still think he's not 100%. Not saying he's hurting, but I think he's still kind of getting his legs back. He's just
Yeah, I mean,
not quite 100%.
yeah, it would be nice to see him back to 100% and back to where he was before the injury. Um, I maybe the Olympic break will help with that.
Yes. Part of me is honestly really glad he's not on that team. I want him to rest up.
Hmm. I mean, had he not gotten injured, it would have been nice to see him play. But because of that injury, I'm just glad he's going to have plenty of opportunities to play on Team Canada.
Right. Exactly.
Um, let's wrap this up with little Bulls.
Yeah, because I feel like we have to talk about the Derrick Rose. Did you watch that Rose ceremony?
I didn't. I just read about it.
Yeah, so it took place after the game, which I thought was interesting, but it was okay because it allowed me a chance to get home and see the end of the game, see Kevin Herter hit that big game-winning shot, and then the rose ceremony afterwards. You had Joakim Noah, Tom Thibodeau, Taj Gibson, Luol Deng, and he was there with his family, his kids, his wife, his mother, his brothers, some of his close friends. And, he talked for a while. Each of the four guys I mentioned, they talked. Tom Thibodeau shared some stories. Luol Deng, Taj Gibson, Joe. They all gave a nice tribute
Get
to
that,
him.
Joe.
Joe. But it was an emotional night for me because not only thinking about what could have been, but it reminded me of a time when I really deeply cared about the Bulls. When they meant as much to me as the Cubs and the Bears and the Blackhawks. And, that was when I was in high school going into college. I watched Derrick Rose every night, and he was just my favorite athlete in the world at the time. And I had his jersey, I wore it to school all the time. I mean, that 2011 team. I didn't get to see Michael Jordan play. I was too young for that dynasty. The only time I saw him play as a kid was when he was on the Wizards. So I never experienced a championship with the Bulls and didn't experience the greatest player of all time. So that Derrick Rose era when he was healthy and he was the youngest MVP in the league, that was the best taste I ever had of Bulls basketball. My earliest memories of the Bulls were, Kirk Heinrich, Ben Gordon, Chris Duhon, Eddie Curry, and those were fun teams, but they weren't contending teams. I loved those teams. I loved them as a kid watching them, but they were never going to win anything. Whereas the Derrick Rose era, those felt like special teams, even though they never went all the way. And LeBron was just that big roadblock. But I mean, it was so special, and I was Bulls crazy. Like I said, I wore Bulls stuff to school every single day. I watched every single game. Every day at school, after a game, my friends and I in class, we'd be talking about the game the night before. And it reminded me of that time when I was so emotionally invested in that team and how far I am from that. And it sucks. It was a wonderful night to honor Derrick Rose, but knowing what's happened to my fandom of the Bulls sucks. It absolutely sucks. And you see how loud and proud that arena was, and they were going crazy like it was a playoff game. And here's this fan base that cares so deeply about this team and this city and what Derrick Rose meant. And here we are stuck in the bowels of basketball hell with no way out. It sucks. That's my spiel on that.
I mean, that this team, they don't have a direction, and it's funny because we'll talk about hell as a team that just can't win. But in the NBA, at least when you're not winning, you've got this opportunity to add an elite talent with the draft. The Bulls don't have that opportunity in the draft, and they don't have they don't have any opportunity to bring in superstar players. They don't have a direction. And I'm hearing at the trade deadline, they're interested in Domantas Sabonis. Like, what is that going to do for you?
Nothing. And weren't they in on Anthony Davis for the 10 billionth time until he got hurt again?
I heard that. I can't buy that one. That I can't buy that one at all. But nothing shocks me anymore with this team. And like, I like Josh Giddey, and I think Matas is going to be a really good player. But you've got to surround him with more talent.
They're the guys you would like as three fours on a team with two superstars.
Yes. Like if you had, or even one superstar with those guys, like a legit superstar. But you don't have that, and you have
No.
no opportunity to get that.
Yeah, and I mean, I like Montes Puzelis a lot, but can anyone sit here and say he has the ceiling tier? And I'm not comparing him as a player to all these different positions, but like he's not going to be that value level of a Giannis or a LeBron or a Curry or a Luca or like a healthy Joel Embiid. You think about all these big superstars in the NBA, and you can like players on this Bulls team, but they're not going to be the superstar that's going to build around and take you on a championship run like Tyrese Halliburton did last year with the Pacers.
Yeah, no, I mean, technically there's going to be a superstar that's available in this trade deadline in Giannis, but you're not getting him.
No, of course not.
He's not coming to the Bulls. So like what are you doing?
Playing tournament again. Who's it going to be? Hawks or Heat? It's pointing that way again.
Are you even in the play-in tournament if
I mean, they're right in that bubble.
let's see. Yeah, they're currently the 9 seed.
Yeah. So there you go.
It's just
Welcome
so
to hell,
dumb.
motherfucker.
I mean, the Pistons are by far and away the best team.
Yeah, they're having a great year.
The Knicks are going to make a big move. Celtics are good. But just after that, it's like, yeah, all right, you got the 76ers, the Magic, the Heat, the Bulls, the Hawks.
Yeah,
And
none of
once
those teams are
once
likely going to win a
and
title.
once Giannis gets traded, the Bucks are going to drop off. So it's going to be Hawks, Bulls, Heat, Magic, 76ers for the meh plan.
Watch, the Bucks are going to tank and they're going to win the lottery.
That would that shock me?
No.
Is there I don't even know who's the top player in this. Is there I mean Carlos Boozer's son is in this draft, I
Cam
believe.
Boozer, yeah.
Cam Boozer.
But I don't think there's I don't think there's a prospect like Cooper Flag.
I
Remember,
mean,
they were a coin flip away from winning those sweepstakes.
uh I'm looking at Tankathon's mock, and they have the Bulls at 14 getting Bennett Sturts from point guard from Iowa. Bennett Sturts.
Sure, he's a fine young man, but
Would you like to play Bennett Sturts?
Bennett Sturt's jerseys are flying off the walls in Chicago.
Cam Boozer. That would be fun to get Carlos Boozer's son.
I heard he's very good.
I mean, he in the Tankathon mock draft, they have him going number 2.
But I die a little inside. Like, Carlos Boozer, he was one of those big guys with Derrick Rose, and now his kid is going to be drafted. Like, where did the time go?
He was our consolation pick when we thought we were getting LeBron and Wade.
And you know what's too bad is I actually liked Carlos Boozer. Like, I get it. Like, he was the consolation prize for getting a franchise changing type player. But I thought he was still a good player overall with the Bulls. He just wasn't Wade or LeBron.
It still makes me laugh. I laugh at this regularly of the audio clip where he was just on the court and didn't rebound. And he'd always just yell to Joakim Noah, "Get that, Joe! Get that, Joe!" I I literally laugh at that at least once a week. And it has been how many years since Carlos Boozer's been here?
Long ass time, man.
And I
2013, 2014 is fine, or was it
somewhere
15?
somewhere in that range. But yeah, I still get that, Joe.
Oh, I'll never ever ever forget holding out hope this summer of 2010 that we were going to get LeBron.
Oh, LeBron.
Because
And
there
we
was a
paid.
time I legit believed it was going to happen.
I knew better. I mean, I know it was in that realm of possibility. I just knew better.
I mean, I was 15,
Uh,
16, 16. I was 16. So pardon me for being naive.
my favorite part about Carlos Boozer is when he painted his hair on.
Yeah. It's like, what did you put shoe shine on your head?
It looked like shoe shine. I'm just picturing like a Tom and Jerry cartoon, just putting the can of the old school can of black shoe shine on his head. Oh my God.
Yeah, so 2013-14 was his final year with the Bulls. He played one more year with the Lakers after that in 14-15. I forgot he was on the Lakers that last year.
Yeah.
Two-time All-Star in Utah. Yeah, he was really good in Utah. But that 2011 team, God, I love that team. That was like, I mean, that was obviously my favorite Bulls team of my lifetime that I can remember. I think it's the last time. No, they won it the next year technically because they were the one overall seed that year. They swept the Heat in the regular season. Yeah, man. I mean, but it was funny because your starting lineup, you had Rose, you had Dang, you had Noah, you had Boozer, and then you had like Keith Bogans. You remember him?
Yep.
And then you had the bench mob. You had CJ Watson, you had Omer Sheik, you had Brian Scalabrine, John Lucas III, Kyle Korver, the three master, Kyle Korver, hit some clutch shots in the playoffs. Big sexy Kurt Thomas. It was a fun team. Yeah,
Uh,
Kurt Thomas. That guy. Omer Sheik. Man, this is bringing back memories.
Omer Ashik. Didn't he get signed away with a poison pill contract?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
Omer Sheik. And then remember Scalabrine would only come in if like the Bulls were up by 20 with like 5 minutes to go, and the whole arena would chant Scalabrine, and he'd come in and everyone would go crazy.
yeah, in 2012, the Houston Rockets signed Omer Ashik to a 3-year, $25.1 million poison pill contract designed to prevent the Chicago Bulls from matching. The deal backloaded $15 million into the final year, which counted at a lower average cap hit for Houston, but created a massive prohibitive cap burden for any other team trying to match or acquire him.
What's funny is he ended up coming back a few years later.
Omer Ashik.
He came back and played 4 games in 2018, but hey, technically came back.
The first picture that comes up when you search him online or on Google is
Is
a
it the
picture.
gasp?
It's a picture of him with like a big cut across his face.
Oh, I thought it was the gasp.
Oh, he's about to turn 40 years old this year. Omer Farouk Ashik.
Farouk, wasn't that Freddie Mercury's real name?
I think so.
Yeah. Ronnie Brewer, whatever happened to Ronnie Brewer? Percolating, as as Stacy used to say so eloquently. Yeah, he was kind of a journeyman. Ronnie Brewer, percolating. He's percolating funk. Woo!
Ronnie Brewer is about to turn 41.
Hmm. Derrick Rose, youngest MVP, was only 22 years old. I mean, they were that team, despite Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose being around a few years, Noah was only 25, Rose was only 22, Luol Deng was only 25, Taj Gibson was only 25 in 2011.
Ronnie Brewer is an assistant coach with Arkansas.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Kyle Korver. He was one of my favorites. He was an all-star one year in Atlanta.
Luol Deng is about to turn 41. His career ended in October of 2019.
Well, do you remember when he was really sick that one time during the playoffs? Like
Yeah.
like life-threatening illness, whatever, like he was in the hospital.
Yep.
Prime Luol Deng was a darn good player. He'll always be one of my favorite Bulls.
Yeah. He played a lot of minutes.
Yeah, he was kind of he was your minutes eater. And he played some pretty good defense.
Luol Deng.
Yeah, he spoke yesterday. It was cool.
Yeah, he ended his career as a Minnesota Timberwolf.
Yeah, I remember that because I think they traded him to the Cavs, I want to say.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
went to the Cleveland, and then he went to Miami,
Hmm.
uh, and then
That's
to the Lakers.
right. That's right. He was on the Heat for a little bit. See, man, this is the passion that I miss. Like talking about these guys, watching them every night, enjoying watching them every night, having a good time. It's like now I haven't watched a full game in God knows how long. It was fun when they were winning at the beginning of the year, and then they tailed off. I'm like, okay, my interest is dwindling.
Uh,
Hell, I loved a few years after 2011 when you had Pau Gasol and Mike Dunleavy on those teams. And who else did they have? Marco Bellinelli, you remember him?
yep, Marco Bellinelli.
Yeah, Pau Gasol, yeah, he was my guy. Loved Pau Gasol.
Do you know what John Paxson's middle name is?
What is it?
Macbeth.
Really?
John Macbeth Paxson.
No kidding. Wonder if he's a Shakespearean Hector and we don't know it.
He's still a senior advisor for the Bulls.
Well, yeah, because he was technically like, quote, demoted,
What do you think he
right?
does?
Sits in an office with a polo shirt with Michael Reinsdorf. I mean, he probably has the best job in the world. He makes an ass ton of money to not have like legit power. and not have to have the pressure on him. He's probably got it made.
Um, since 2020, he has worked as a senior advisor to basketball operations, helping during the team's transition under new leadership. How long can you do that for?
As long as Reinsdorf want him around, he's their buddy. He's their guy. He won you the 1993 NBA championship.
He also is involved with supporting NIL opportunities for student athletes at Notre Dame through Golden Minds and Golden Touch.
Oh, that's cool.
So he pays Notre Dame players.
Yeah, good for him.
Hmm. Maybe he can pay Jeremiah Love to come to the Bears.
Oh, that would be nice.
Oh, man. Can you imagine the Bears with Jeremiah Love?
Oh my God. I picture Jeremiah Love just like sitting outside the Notre Dame stadium, and here comes John Paxson with just like a round paper bag, just like nonchalantly just handing it to him as he passes it by.
John Paxson is dressed in a members only jacket, sitting on a bus bench, holding like a grocery sized bag of money and with nerd glasses on. Jeremiah Love walks by. It's like, bro, you look like an ops.
Shut up. Is anyone following
John
you?
John Paxson looks like a FBI plant.
I'm not wearing a wire, by the way. Why would you even say that?
Uh,
That'd
oh
be
man.
nice, though. Get Jeremiah Love here.
Oh my God. Uh, he's like Randy Brown's wearing the wire.
He's got a big ass trench coat. It's like so big when he stands up, he's just like standing on the bottom of it.
Mm, God, I'm, I'm not wearing a wire.
Why would you even say that?
Uh, do, do you think that John Paxson just stares across the room angrily at AK?
Probably.
Just glares at him. This son of a bitch.
You bastard. That
Uh,
or maybe he says, you know what? Thanks for making my life a lot easier.
uh,
One of the two.
who had a cushier job, John Paxson right now or Sweaty Teddy?
That's a good question. Well, Sweaty Teddy did put a lot of work into rebuilding Hallis Hall, and then he had to acquire the land. Um, and he was involved in the coaching process.
That guy went from being an accountant to running the fucking Chicago Bears.
I know. I know.
We've come a long way since that point.
Yeah, we have. I mean, wasn't Ted with the organization since like 1984?
He'd been there a long ass time.
And he was president since 1999. Like, so 25 years, a quarter century worth of him being president, of your football team being run by a guy who doesn't have a football background.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, looks like the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl.
All right, 15 seconds. They're running up to the line. They're going to spike it. They're at the 30, their own 30. So they need an absolute miracle here.
You know what they need? It's Caleb Williams,
Yeah, you find a way.
the
Well,
Iceman.
you know, I'm coping right now. I'm thinking the chances of us going in and winning this game are probably pretty low.
But anything's possible.
Anything's possible. But I'm just coping right now. So excuse my cope.
Your copium.
My copium.
While we're waiting for the last couple seconds of this game to end, we forgot to talk about the bromance with PCA and Caleb Williams this week.
Oh, isn't it great? They're going to all the games. They're going to Hawks games. They're going to Bulls games. It's awesome. It's really, really awesome.
I can't imagine the ridiculous conversations that are being had.
I would love to be a fly on the wall. Buzz, buzz, buzz.
Buzz, buzz, buzz.
I mean, PCA's been at all the games in December and in the playoffs. I mean, a lot of those Cubs, they went from the Cubs convention to the game. Bregman was there, Nico was there, Kate Horton was there, PCA was obviously there, Ian Happ was there. A lot of those guys were all at the game.
All right, why isn't this game ending?
Here we go. Stafford drops back. Throws across. Completes it out of bounds. 3 seconds. The time's still going? No, it's over. He didn't go out of bounds. That's final. I thought he went out of bounds.
It is final. The Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl to play the Patriots. Maybe they'll hand it off to Marshawn Lynch this time.
Yeah.
I feel like the Seahawks are going to win it this time.
I do too.
Well, anything else you want to add?
Nope, I said my piece.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. Please hit subscribe however you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Share this podcast with your friends, how we grow the show. Follow us on social media at Swerski Sports, Facebook.com/Swerski Sports, SwerskiSports.com, or Swerski_sports_ podcast on Instagram, or ShyFanPat2 for Alex on Twitter /X, or AlexanderJPatCreative.com for all the cool stuff that Alex does. And again, thank you so much for listening. And until next time, bear down.
Cubs win! What a lucky break! The good Lord wants the Cubs to win!
We thank Ditka and God for all they have provided.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Oh, I don't want her. You can have her. She's a Packer fan. She can't fit in my van.
And she looks like number New Yorkers. Smoking crack is not legal on planes. Bears 31 to -7. The Bears! Oh, when the Bears go bearing down.